Let's go to Art Laffer, the former Ronald Reagan economist, economic Svengali, an iconic figure in some very historic moments for the economy. Art, always good to have you. When last we chatted, my friend, you were talking about this gas tax holiday that the president at the time was thinking about. Now we're told he's going to act on it. And you said, you know, if push came to shove and you were advising the president, you would be okay with this. Why was that?
Well, it's a palliative and something that shows he's doing something. It's really not very much, but it is showing he's trying to do something to bring down gas prices. But, you know, and it also, by the way, I'd much rather have a tax rate reduction than I would a spending increase, always, Neil. And the other thing it shows is that it really is a slap in the face of the Green New Agenda, because what it's going to do is encourage more people to buy gas, to use hydrocarbons, which is exactly the opposite of what the administration's policies were. But it isn't. It's much more of a gimmick than a real policy. But it is something to at least show he cares. That's why I thought
right,
if
I
were there, I'd advise that.
I see where you're coming from, but you know, generally, you know, you cut the price of something, you build up the demand for something. So, ironically, could that increase the price in the long run?
Exactly, and especially when you prohibited them from producing more oil. I mean, you know, if there's an increase in demand on oil in the U.S., you have two ways of solving it. One, increase the quantity produced to satisfy the demand. Or number two, if you can't increase the quantity, you have to raise the price to ration the amount of oil you have. You know, and what the administration has done is prohibited oil companies from producing more. So therefore, whenever there's an increase in demand, it causes the price to rise sharply. Then they scream greed at them, capitalist pigs, and all this other sort of stuff, which is just totally inappropriate. They pushed the oil companies into this position. And that's true. I don't think this serves the president's green agenda, and I don't think it serves him really well in any long-run sense in controlling oil prices. But it is a short-term palliative, and maybe will help him in the elections in November.
You know, I wanted to get your thoughts, as you're such a good student of history as well, Art, in the days you were with Ronald Reagan. You know, his first 2 years were kind of rocky. You know, if you think of the recession and inflation and what was happening, he stayed confident throughout. But I was wondering how much attention he paid to the markets at the time. They were still, you know, I wouldn't say a free fall, but they were going nowhere fast. And it would take until around 1982 that they gained traction and we hit 1,000 on the Dow, and the rest is history. I only raise that with you now because it's a pretty good bet that this president doesn't follow the stock market closely or care. Maybe he cares, but by not mentioning it that much, I mean, maybe he's stating the obvious. But how important is it to a president to look at those markets?
Well, you know, it is important because the stock market is really a real serious bellwether of how the elections are going to turn out. And, you know, what happened with Reagan, I've said, and I've argued this a lot, and it's true, is that because he deferred the tax cuts, this year, people will defer the spending and production and investment till next year so they can face their incomes and lower tax rates. And that's what really caused the 81-82 recession, not the monetary policy of Paul Volcker. So that's where we were looking at the markets. And I was personally very worried about the market in 1982. It troughed at 777 on August 13th, Neil, 1982, which was a long decline from February of 66. I mean, 16 and a half years down, what is it, 76% in real terms?
No, you're right about that. We're having audio difficulties with you, Art, but I think you're right about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. Now I'm jumping on your gun here, but thank you for that. I do appreciate that.